In 1917, Albert Einstein made a discovery so terrifying that he tried to undo it. His own equations revealed something that shattered everything he believed about reality. The universe was not eternal. It had a beginning. And if it had a beginning, then something must have existed before it. Something that even Einstein was afraid to name. For 2,000 years, philosophers argued about whether the cosmos was eternal or created. Aristotle said it had always existed. The Bible said God created it from nothing, but no one could prove either side. Until Einstein sat down with his equations and accidentally discovered the most disturbing truth in the history of science. What was there before the universe existed? Where did everything come from? And why did Einstein call his attempt to hide this discovery the biggest regret of his life? If you are still here, you are already different from 99% of people who accept the official story. You want to know what really happened at the beginning of everything. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what Einstein found, what he tried to hide, and what it means for you personally. But first, you need to understand something crucial, something they never teach you in school, something that changes everything once you see it. Einstein did not set out to discover the origin of the universe. He was trying to understand gravity. In 1915, he completed his theory of general relativity, which describes how massive objects bend space and time around them. It was the most elegant theory in physics. Every experiment confirmed it. Einstein thought he had unlocked the secrets of the cosmos, but then something went wrong. When Einstein applied his equations to the entire universe, they predicted something impossible. They showed that the universe could not stay still. It had to be either expanding or contracting. There was no middle ground, no stability, no eternal, unchanging cosmos. A Russian mathematician named Alexander Friedman saw this immediately. In 1922, Friedman published a paper showing that Einstein's equations naturally predicted an expanding universe. He wrote to Einstein, pointing out that the static universe was like balancing a pencil on its point. Any slight disturbance would cause it to fall. The universe wanted to move, to expand, to breathe. Einstein dismissed Friedman's work. He called it mathematically correct, but physically meaningless. He was so attached to his vision of an eternal cosmos that he refused to see what his own equations were telling him. This horrified Einstein. He believed, like Aristotle and Newton before him, that the universe was a grand cathedral, fixed for all eternity. An expanding universe implied a beginning. A beginning implied a creator. And Einstein wanted nothing to do with that. So in 1917, he made a fateful decision. He added a new term to his equations, called the cosmological constant. This was a mathematical trick, a fudge factor, designed to counterbalance gravity and keep the universe static. Einstein knew it was artificial. He knew it went against the natural predictions of his own theory, but he added it anyway because the alternative was too disturbing to accept. For 12 years, Einstein believed he had solved the problem. The universe was eternal, just as he wanted it to be. But in 1929, an astronomer named Edwin Hubble made a discovery that would destroy everything. Hubble had been studying distant galaxies, and he noticed something strange. Every galaxy he observed was moving away from us, and the farther away a galaxy was, the faster it was moving. The universe was not static. It was expanding, exactly as Einstein's original equations had predicted. This circumstance of an expanding universe is irritating, Einstein wrote in a letter. To admit such possibilities seems senseless to me. But the evidence was undeniable. Hubble had proven that the cosmos was growing, stretching, spreading outward in all directions, and if the universe is expanding now, then it must have been smaller in the past. Run the clock backward far enough, and everything in the cosmos was squeezed into a single point, one infinitely dense, infinitely hot point, from which everything exploded outward in a cataclysmic moment of creation. This was the implication that Einstein had tried so desperately to avoid. The universe had a beginning, and at that beginning, the laws of physics broke down. Space and time ceased to exist. There was nothing but a singularity, a mathematical point, where all the rules stopped working. What was there before that singularity? What existed before time itself began? These were no longer questions for philosophers and theologians. They were questions demanded by Einstein's own equations. But wait, because what happened next is even more disturbing. In 1931, a Belgian priest and physicist named Georges Lemaitre proposed something radical. He suggested that the universe began as a cosmic fireball, an incredibly hot and dense state that expanded and cooled over billions of years. This was the birth of what we now call the Big Bang theory. Einstein initially rejected it. He told Lemaitre that his physics was abominable, but as the evidence mounted, Einstein began to change his mind. And after hearing Lemaitre lecture in 1933, Einstein stood up and said something remarkable. "This is the most beautiful and satisfactory explanation of creation to which I have ever listened." Einstein had finally accepted what his own equations had told him 16 years earlier. The universe had a beginning. The cosmos was not eternal. Something happened to bring it into existence, and that something remained the greatest mystery in science. But here is where things get truly strange, because the question of what existed before the Big Bang is not just philosophical, it is physical. And the answers that physicists have proposed are more bizarre than anything Einstein could have imagined. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time itself began at the Big Bang. There was no before, because before requires time, and time did not exist. Asking what happened before the Big Bang is like asking, what is north of the North Pole? The question itself does not make sense. Stephen Hawking used this exact analogy in his famous book, A Brief History of Time. He argued that the universe is completely self-contained. It has no boundary, no edge, no outside. Just as you can travel forever on the surface of a sphere without ever reaching an end, the universe exists as a closed system that needs nothing outside itself to exist. But here is where things get philosophically disturbing. If the universe is self-contained and self-sufficient, then it does not need a creator. It does not need a cause. It simply is. The laws of physics generated themselves from nothing, and everything that exists emerged from those laws. This was the implication that disturbed Einstein so deeply. It wasn't just that the universe had a beginning. It was that the beginning seemed to require no explanation. The cosmos popped into existence from nothing, governed by laws that also popped into existence from nothing. There was no room for God, no room for purpose, no room for meaning. Or was there? But this answer is deeply unsatisfying, and it raises an even more disturbing question. If time began at the Big Bang, what caused the Big Bang to happen? How can something come from nothing? How can the entire universe, with its billions of galaxies and trillions of stars, simply pop into existence from a mathematical point? For decades, physicists struggled with this problem. Some said the question was meaningless. Others said it was beyond the reach of science. But a few brave researchers proposed answers that would have shocked even Einstein. The physicist Lawrence Krauss argued in his book, A Universe from Nothing, that the laws of quantum mechanics allow particles to pop into existence from empty space. If particles can appear from nothing, then perhaps the entire universe can too. What we call nothing is not truly empty. It is seething with potential, with virtual particles flickering in and out of existence. The universe may have emerged from this quantum vacuum, a spontaneous fluctuation that grew into everything we see. But this raises another question. Where did the laws of quantum mechanics come from? If they existed before the universe, then something existed before the universe. The laws themselves needed a ground, a foundation, a source. Some physicists believe that mathematics itself is that source. The philosopher Max Tegmark has argued that the universe is not just described by mathematics. It is mathematics. Physical reality is a mathematical structure, and mathematical structures exist eternally, outside of time. In this view, the Big Bang was not the creation of something from nothing. It was the emergence of physical existence, from pure mathematical truth. Einstein would have recognized this idea. He spent his life searching for the mathematical laws that govern reality, believing that these laws were not arbitrary, but necessary. If the universe could not be other than what it is, then the question of what caused it becomes meaningless. It exists because it must exist. Its own existence is its cause. One possibility is that our universe is not the only one. Some physicists believe that our Big Bang was just one of many, that there is a vast multiverse, an infinite collection of universes, constantly being born and dying. Our universe is just one bubble in an endless foam of cosmic creation. If this is true, then the question of what existed before our Big Bang has a simple answer. Other universes existed, perhaps an infinite number of them. Perhaps universes have always been coming into existence and fading away, in an eternal cycle of creation and destruction that has no beginning and no end. But there is another possibility, one that is even more radical, and it involves something Einstein would have recognized immediately. In 2020, the physicist Roger Penrose won the Nobel Prize for his work on black holes. But Penrose has also proposed a startling theory about what existed before the Big Bang. He calls it conformal cyclic cosmology, and according to this theory, our universe is just one era in an infinite sequence of cosmic ages. Penrose believes that when our universe eventually dies, expanding into an infinite cold darkness, something remarkable will happen. The laws of physics will reset, and a new Big Bang will occur, creating a new universe with new stars and new galaxies. This cycle has been going on forever. There is no beginning and no end. Just an eternal sequence of universes, each one arising from the death of the one before. The most amazing part is that Penrose claims to have found evidence for this. He has identified what he calls Hawking points, strange circular patterns in the cosmic microwave background radiation. These patterns, Penrose argues, are the remnants of black holes from a previous universe, echoes of a cosmos that existed before our own. If Penrose is right, then the question of what existed before the Big Bang has a stunning answer. Another universe existed, a universe that lived and died, billions of years before our own was born. And when our universe eventually fades away, another will take its place. The implications of this are staggering. It means that the laws of physics are not arbitrary. They are the same laws that governed the previous universe and will govern the next one. It means that consciousness may have existed before our Big Bang, in forms we cannot imagine. It means that the death of our universe is not the end, but a transition to something new. But perhaps the most profound implication is this. If universes have been cycling forever, then the question of what started the cycle has no answer. There is no first universe. There is no ultimate beginning. The chain of cosmic creation extends backward into eternity. With no starting point, this is almost exactly what Spinoza believed 300 years ago, and it is exactly what Einstein's equations seem to suggest. But wait, there is something else you need to know, something that connects all of this to Einstein, in a way that most people never realize. Remember when Einstein added the cosmological constant to his equations? The mathematical fudge that he called his greatest regret? For 70 years, physicists thought Einstein had been wrong to add it. They removed it from their models and forgot about it. But in 1998, two teams of astronomers made a discovery that turned everything upside down. They were measuring the expansion of the universe, expecting to find that it was slowing down due to gravity. Instead, they found the opposite. The expansion of the universe was accelerating. This was impossible according to the standard model. Gravity should be pulling everything together, slowing the expansion, but something was pushing the universe apart, making it expand faster and faster. This mysterious force was given a name: dark energy. And when physicists tried to explain dark energy, they realized something astonishing. The best explanation involved bringing back Einstein's cosmological constant, the very term that Einstein had called his greatest regret. Turned out to be essential for understanding the universe. It is a testament to Einstein's genius that even his blunders proved to be significant, wrote one physicist. Lambda implied the existence of a repulsive form of gravity, and such a thing appears to be the driving force behind cosmic acceleration. Einstein's mistake wasn't the cosmological constant itself. It was using it to deny what his equations were telling him. He tried to force the universe to be static. When it was yearning to expand, he tried to make reality conform to his beliefs instead of letting his beliefs conform to reality. And this brings us to the most important lesson of all, the lesson that Einstein himself learned far too late. Einstein dedicated his entire life searching for what he called Spinoza's God. Not a personal God who answers prayers and intervenes in human affairs, but a God who reveals himself in the harmony of all that exists. A God who is one and the same, with the mathematical laws that govern the universe. I believe in Spinoza's God, Einstein wrote, who reveals himself in the lawful harmony of the world, not in a God who concerns himself with the fate and the doings of mankind. For Einstein, the question of what existed before the universe wasn't separate from the question of God. If the universe had a beginning, then something must have caused that beginning. And if the laws of physics themselves came into existence at the Big Bang, then something must have existed beyond those laws. What could that something be? What exists outside of space and time? What is the bedrock, the foundation of all being, the source from which reality itself emerges? These aren't questions that physics can simply answer. They're questions that Einstein spent his final years contemplating, and the answers he found weren't in his equations, but in the philosophy of Baruch Spinoza, a 17th century lens grinder who was expelled from his Jewish community for heresy. Spinoza believed that God and nature are the same thing, that the universe itself is divine, that everything that exists is a manifestation of one infinite, eternal substance. There is no separation between the Creator and the creation. The universe doesn't need a cause outside itself, because it is its own cause. Spinoza called this Deus sive natura, which is Latin for God or nature. For him, these weren't two different things, but two names for the same reality. The laws of physics aren't rules imposed by an external creator. They're the very nature of existence itself. The universe isn't a machine made by God. The universe is God, expressing itself through matter and energy and consciousness. In 1954, just a year before his death, Einstein wrote a famous letter that revealed his deepest thoughts about God and the universe. This letter, known as the God Letter, sold at auction in 2018 for nearly $3 million. In it, Einstein wrote that the word God is for me nothing but the expression and product of human weaknesses. But this doesn't mean Einstein was an atheist. Far from it. In the same period, he wrote that his religious feeling takes the form of a rapturous amazement at the harmony of natural law. He described a cosmic religious feeling, a sense of awe at the mathematical beauty of the universe. Einstein rejected the personal God of traditional religion, the God who answers prayers and intervenes in human affairs. But he embraced something deeper, a God who is identical with the laws of nature, a God who doesn't stand outside the universe, but is the universe. If Spinoza is right, then the question of what existed before the universe misses the point entirely. The universe isn't something that was created at a moment in time. It's the eternal expression of a reality that has always existed and will always exist. The Big Bang wasn't the beginning of everything. It was just a transition, a moment of transformation in an infinite process that has no beginning and no end. This is what Einstein glimpsed when he looked at his equations. This is what terrified him so much that he tried to hide it. Not the fact that the universe had a beginning, but the fact that his equations pointed toward something beyond the universe, something that mathematics could describe but never fully explain, something that could only be called divine. But here is what most people miss, and this is perhaps the most important thing I can tell you today. The question of what existed before the universe is ultimately a question about you, about who you are and where you came from, about the nature of your own consciousness and its relationship to the cosmos. Think about it. Your body is made of atoms that were forged in the hearts of dying stars, the carbon in your cells, the iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones. All of it was created in stellar explosions billions of years ago. You are literally made of stardust. But where did those stars come from? They came from hydrogen atoms that formed in the first few minutes after the Big Bang. And where did those atoms come from? They came from the energy released in the initial explosion. And where did that energy come from? Trace it back far enough, and you arrive at the singularity, the point where physics breaks down and questions become meaningless. But the atoms in your body were there. In some form, in some way, the stuff that makes up your consciousness was present at the very beginning. You are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, becoming aware of itself. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every question you ask is the cosmos, asking questions about its own origin. When you wonder what existed before the Big Bang, you are the Big Bang, wondering about itself. Einstein understood this. It's why he spent his final years not just doing physics, but contemplating the nature of existence itself. He knew that the deepest questions couldn't be answered by equations alone. They required a kind of seeing, a kind of understanding, that goes beyond rational thought. The most beautiful experience we can have is the mysterious, Einstein wrote. It is the fundamental emotion which stands at the cradle of true art and true science. He to whom this emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause to wonder and stand wrapped in awe, is as good as dead. This is the gift that Einstein offers us today, not just the answer to what existed before the universe, but the invitation to wonder, the invitation to stand at the edge of what we know and gaze into the infinite mystery that surrounds us. We may never know what existed before the Big Bang. We may never fully understand how something came from nothing, or whether the question even makes sense. But we can wonder, we can contemplate, and we can participate in the greatest mystery that has ever existed. And in doing so, we become more than observers of the universe. We become the universe, observing itself. We become the question and the answer, the seeker and the sought, the finite beings, contemplating the infinite from which we emerged. This is what Einstein knew. This is what his equations pointed toward. This is the truth that Albert Einstein first tried to hide and then dedicated his life to trying to understand. If you've watched this far, you're part of something truly rare. You're among that 1%, those who refuse to accept easy answers, those who insist on digging deeper, thinking harder, questioning everything. And that matters more than you might realize. Because the questions you ask, they change you. They expand your consciousness. They connect you to something larger than yourself. When you contemplate the origin of the cosmos, you're participating in the same mystery, the very mystery that Einstein devoted his life to unraveling. If this kind of profound exploration resonates with you, if you find yourself pondering these ultimate questions, then please consider supporting this channel through Super Thanks. Every contribution, every single one, helps me continue this vital research and share these earth-shattering discoveries with people like you, people who are hungry for real knowledge, not just fleeting entertainment. This isn't just about racking up views or boosting subscriber counts. It's about building a vibrant community of seekers, people who are willing to push beyond the surface and fearlessly explore the deepest mysteries of existence itself. When you support this work, you're making a powerful declaration that truth matters, that understanding matters, that the great questions of existence deserve our unwavering attention and our dedicated effort. Now, I really want to hear from you. What do you believe existed before the cosmic fireball? Do you think the universe had a true beginning? Or is it merely part of an eternal, never-ending cycle? Is the question itself even meaningful? Or does it perhaps point to something far beyond what our minds, our limited human minds, can even begin to comprehend? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and I respond to as many as humanly possible in the first couple of hours. This is your chance, your golden opportunity to join a conversation that has been raging since the very dawn of human thought. A conversation about where we came from, why we are here, and what it all truly means. Albert Einstein spent his entire life grappling with these same monumental questions. Now, it's your turn. What did you find most surprising, most unsettling about what Einstein ultimately discovered? And what does it make you think about your own existence, your place in this vast, seemingly infinite cosmos? The universe is speaking to you. The only question that remains is whether or not you're willing, truly willing, to listen.